But let's talk real quick about those 5 foolproof greens that we're growing. The way that we have been operating things, at least in terms of YouTube, just isn't working anymore. We just can't keep that pace up. Hi there, folks. I'm Sean the Modern Yeoman. Some real talk. It's been very, very difficult these past few weeks to juggle all the things that we needed to juggle, that we've been needing to juggle. For those of you that don't know, in addition to having this homestead that I share with my parents, my mother-in-law, my wife, and my son, I also work a full-time job. It's roughly about 60 hours a week or so. I'm fortunate enough to work from home. It seems like things have been ramping up in that regard. And so I've come to the point where the only time I really have available to film is early in the mornings on the weekdays before work starts. This is a rare Sunday when I actually have some time free. I'm filming this on Sunday. But I think from now on, I'm actually going to be putting out more videos, but less produced, less published. Because I still have a lot of work I need to get done on those, in that hour or two of morning I have before my workday starts. And I'm going to film that. And I want to put those videos out and I want to share them with you. But they're going to be, like I said, they're going to be a little bit less polished, less produced. I'm still going to put out an occasional edited, really fancy, musical, polished video here and there. But in the interim, I think I'm just going to do more of a vlog style to show you guys what life is like on a real homestead where we're limited by time, we're limited by budget. We don't have much of either of those things, time or money. So we have to make do with what we have. And you're going to follow along. And the reason why I think it's kind of fun is because over the next few weeks, we need to prep for the garden. We're not quite ready. So today we're going to get some mulch down in between the lanes. Last week I laid the tarp down. We're gonna lay down some mulch. We're gonna start laying down some mulch. There's no way I'm gonna finish it. We're gonna get some more compost ready and we're gonna start some seeds. I've got 5 greens that we're sticking with. We've been through dozens of different green types, greens, leafy vegetables that we've grown on our garden. And there's 5 that we have found to be consistently good producers on our homestead where we live in East Tennessee. And I'll show you which 5 of those seeds we're going to start, and we're going to get those going today. There's one that I'm really excited about. It's a Japanese leafy green that I think is blown up the past few years. And we tried it last year, and it was by far the best green we grew in our garden. We are replacing spinach this year. We're not growing any spinach, but we're going to grow this green instead. I'll show you guys what that is. But in the meantime, I got to get busy making compost, laying down mulch. There's a lot of things I need to do. But yeah, I wanted to give you a heads up. The videos are going to be a little leaner in terms of production style over the next few weeks. But there'll probably be more of them, 2 to 3 a week. So trade-offs, balance. Anyways, folks, let's get into it. There's a lot of stuff to do. I'm going to mulch out the lanes between the beds in the garden, and I'm also going to get some compost in the beds. As you guys know from last week, we did get a scoop of compost to supplement what we already have. We're definitely going to need more. I'm actually going to turn this compost, just our regular kitchen compost pile. It's been a while since it's been turned, but we'd like to utilize that as well, but it needs turning, so I think that's the first thing that I'm going to do. I think what I'd eventually like to do is set up another compost bed or compost container, compost storage area where we can put rested compost. This obviously isn't rested compost. This is active compost. It's where we put all of our kitchen scraps that we don't feed to the chickens or that we didn't feed to the pigs now that the pigs are gone. So this is active. It's always, we'll put ash in here, we'll put kitchen scraps, we'll put leaves, we'll put pine shavings, we'll put dead animals, things like that. But this is good stuff. I like having this active compost pile, but we need a place to put the ready to go compost. So that's a project I'm thinking about. Also, I wanted to give Folks, an update on the turkeys. We unfortunately lost one of our turkey chicks. We got 8, expecting that we'd lose some. Turkey attrition is a real thing among turkey poults. And we did lose one 4 nights ago, unfortunately. But the rest of them seem to be healthy. They seem to be strong. They seem to be hanging in there. We bought, like I said, we bought 8 turkey poults expecting a loss of 1 or 2. We're down to 7. Let's hope we keep up with those 7. Yeah, lots of eggs, buddy. As you can see here, we've actually brought them outside. The one that died when they were still inside, staying in the dining room. But the 7 remaining, they love it out here. It's been very warm. The temperatures have been in the 60s or 70s. I think last night it got down to a low of like 63. So they've been fine. I do keep the heat lamp on just in case, but these guys I think have been really enjoying the outside. What happened to the dandelion, buddy? Are you just... Let's try that one instead. Grab the stem. Nope. Nope, that'll work too. That'll work too. What do you think? You give that to your mom or your nana? Or your Grammy? Next up, it's time for me to start moving the mulch over to the lanes. Now, for those of you that watched last week, you know that we put up this contractor grade tarp in between the lanes because Bermuda grass is insane to try and get rid of. We used regular cloth cover last year. We've used cardboard in between the lanes. We've used, there's a couple of other things, and we've always ended up covering that up with mulch and just crossing our fingers to see if it'll work, but it never did. And so last year we just said, you know what, forget it. We're just gonna do quote unquote living lanes and let the grass grow in between our beds. Well, the living lanes were a mistake because by letting that Bermuda grass grow in between the garden beds, it just snuck under the garden beds and started infesting whatever we were growing there. So this year we're trying a different approach, 3rd year gardening here, and that is just laying this heavy-duty contractor grade tarp down. It works well in the mulch around our house. Nothing has sprung up over it. I have been reading some of your comments though, and a lot of folks have said, you know, Bermuda grass will still grow through this stuff. We'll see. I'll try our best, but short of just completely demolishing this land and starting from scratch, like maybe next time we get pigs, we'll run them in this spot and let them just completely root the ground down. I don't know. I think we're rolling the dice again. We're hoping this does the trick, but my hope is that by filling in the lanes with this tarp and then covering it with mulch, we should be in a good place. Here's hoping. Cross your fingers for me. All right, so the garden is started. We've kicked it off. I'm getting mulch in the lanes, and Nana Jana has started digging out some of the weeds in those weedy beds. I'm gonna continue with that work in the mornings. But let's talk real quick about those 5 foolproof greens that we're growing. We're just growing 5 greens. One thing I should do is establish the difference between what we consider to be greens, which is kind of leafy vegetables. They're not carb heavy, they're not starchy, they're just like salad greens essentially, versus other types of things that we grow, like tomatoes or potatoes or okra or squash. Greens is just kind of the leafy salad, nice to have leafy greens that we grow. Those aren't super important to us in terms of like calories that we're growing on the homestead, but they are nice to have. So after a period of 3 years now, 2 years, if this is the 3rd year that we're going to be doing this, we've established 5 greens that grow really well on the homestead. And so we're going to stick with them. And they include collards, kale, arugula, mustard greens, And finally, the big surprise. We used to grow spinach, and we're not growing, we've given up on spinach. We're no longer doing spinach. Not because we don't like spinach, but because it just doesn't grow that well here. It seems like the window of health for a healthy spinach crop seems to be pretty small, at least where we live. So what I'm about to say is only represents our experience here in East Tennessee and the particular climate that we have in our own little ecosystem. So instead of spinach, we've given up on spinach. It's a Japanese green called tatsoi. We were very impressed with tatsoi last year. I think a viewer actually sent us a pack, and so we tried it out, and it was one of the best greens crops that we ever had. I don't know if we have video from last year of our tatsoi crop. I might try and find some copyright-free video of tatsoi somewhere out there that I'll include here, but it was super healthy. It tasted great, and it grew well over a very long period of time. We started it pretty early last year, and it grew well in some cold weather. It also grew well through the thick of the summer, through the heat of the summer. I remember our tatsoi crop went very well. It popped right up, and it was very healthy in the midst of a very sweltering summer. It also did well once we started getting into fall and things started getting cooler again. It was a very healthy, robust crop for us. So I'm all about the tatsoi. I don't think that was a fluke. I've read other people having similar experiences with tatsoi, so I'm going to praise the glories of tatsoi from the barn top. Like, as many people as I can get into tatsoi, I'm going to try, because it's an incredible crop, at least for us, at least here. So those are the greens that we got started. We put them in starting trays, and I do like to cover it up during these cold weeks of late March, early April with this little Rubbermaid kind of mini greenhouse just to keep the frost off of it. That being said, last winter we left these trays out, I remember, and there was a freak snowstorm. The snow covered these trays, and we thought they were all dead. But one of the greens that actually grew up and did okay even after getting snowed on was, surprise, tatsoi. So we're sticking with the tatsoi, but we're gonna keep all of these guys covered, at least for the next few weeks, while they get stronger and they grow up in the trays. Well, that's all we've got for today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Like I said at the beginning of the video, the way that we have been operating things, at least in terms of YouTube, just isn't working anymore. We just can't keep that pace up. The only time I can film is early in the mornings before work starts. And now that spring is here, I've got plenty to keep me busy in that hour or two of daylight before work starts. So what does that mean? That means more frequent videos throughout the week, but less polished videos, less music and fancy editing, more the work with me Wednesday style. Which I guess I'm releasing this, I'll probably release this on Wednesday. So this will be a Work With Me Wednesday video. Like I said, there's a lot going on now that spring is here. I've got a lot to keep me busy. I really want to get this garden going in time, and a million other projects that I'm just looking around and I see like trees down and things, brush that needs to be cleared. Like, there's going to be a lot to film because we have a lot to do. So keep hanging out with us. We love having you guys tag along. And until we see you again next time, remember, as always, slowly, slowly.